Here's a third swarm of the year. It was a smaller swarm. I already shook it off. I just set the ladder here and reached up with a PVC pipe with a bit of a shovel on the end of it so I could hook the limb. I shook the bees off the limb and they fell down in front of this box with the inner cover in front of the box to help them walk across the grass and make it to the box. I sprinkled a little bit of lemongrass oil on the outside of the box. You don't want that lemongrass scent to be overwhelming inside the box, because that'll, if there's a little bit too much lemongrass scent, it'll force them out of the box. So there's a little bit of lemongrass oil on the outside. They're showing a little bit of interest in that box after I shook them off, but most of the bees went back up to the branch. So there's a chance the queen is still up there. Or she could be on the ground here, where the bees show a little bit of concentration. Sometimes the queen will be in that clump. So I'll watch and see what these do. They'll probably start marching in the box, but that doesn't mean the queen is in there. I'll shake the rest of the bees off that branch again here in a minute. So I don't have a lot of time to mess with the swarm today. It's getting late in the evening, and the only option that I have to catch these bees is to just shake them right off of the limb and make them fall, and then hope that they march in the box. So I'll shake the bees off again, and I think I'll find another lid instead of this one. I'll leave this lid here on the ground, and hopefully they'll all march in by dark. So they are slowly making their way towards the box. They were out here in the grass right about there, and they've walked themselves over to this spot. I'll try to look real close for the queen here for a minute and then shake some more bees down. I'll see if I can get that on video. There's a few that have made it into the box. Hopefully the queen's down here somewhere. Let me get the ladder in place and I'll start the video again. Okay, I've got this pipe hooked on that limb. And I'll shake them off again onto the ground. Here we go. Most of them want to go right back to the limb. The ones that actually fall clear to the ground, a lot of them stay on the ground. There's the queen right there. If she makes her way into the box, it's a done deal. Okay, she went into the box. I'm gonna dump those bees on top. The only way in and out is this entrance. So that was pretty fortunate, being able to spot the queen. The first time I shook them off the branch, she didn't end up on the ground. And the second time I shook them off, she happened to fall down on that inner cover. I coaxed her in there with my hand and dumped a bunch of the bees from that inner cover into the box, so she should be comfortable in there. There's no reason why she would want to walk back out. It's getting late in the evening, and I'm going to shake these bees off of this branch again, but I'm running out of time. I got to leave them alone for the day. So one more time, I'll shake these off. I can't reach my pipe. Alright, I'll shake these off one more time. Most of them just stayed airborne, going right back up to that branch, but the queen's in the box, so they'll start missing their queen on that branch here pretty soon. They'll realize she's not there. A lot more bees that's in the air are making their way towards the box this time. There's probably 2 pounds of bees up there yet. They just keep flying back up to that branch. But there's a lot of bees in the box now. You can see they're fanning their pheromones at the front of the entrance. They stick their rear ends up in the air and fan. They're fanning air across their Nasanov gland, and that smells a lot like lemongrass scent, lemongrass oil. But that tells the other bees that's in the air flying where the queen is. They're saying, she's over here, come over here. So they'll start to lose her scent up there on that branch and make their way down to here, because they're fanning a lot of scent in the air here, and it's starting to work. There's some more bees on the ground that have to make their way in yet. Alright, that's one successful swarm, and I didn't have to use the Jeep with the ladder on top of the Jeep this time. That is the 4th time I've caught a swarm in that very tree. I have a swarm trap at the bottom of the tree, and the swarm trap has never caught their interest. But that's the 4th time they've swarmed into that very tree, almost that very same branch. Between there and there, just 4 different spots. Okay, I gave him about half an hour. It's getting a little bit dark for him to be flying. I shook him off again, and there's not very many going back to that branch. These are fanning really well now. They're fanning their Nasanov glands. I'll see if I can zoom in on that branch. So I just shake that branch once in a while. There's not very many up there. That's probably half a pound of bees, maybe at the most. I just want them to get off that branch before it gets too dark to fly. So some of the bees that are flying are working their way down to this box. They can smell that scent. Well, that's the 3rd swarm caught this year, and the 4th swarm that's been in that particular tree. So, and one other thing about this swarm is none of my colonies were ready to swarm. I had everything broke down into mating nukes and pretty light colonies. I've been doing a lot of splits. So I'm somewhere around 22. Came out of winter with 5. I'm up to 22. And with everything real light and not able to swarm, this particular swarm is a freebie swarm. The two previous ones were from my colonies. There's a old abandoned building down the road about 200, maybe 300 yards away from here. And it has one colony that survived winter in that old building. And I noticed a couple of weeks ago that it had populated another spot of the building. So that was kind of nice to see. I like seeing feral bees. And they swarm pretty often in that building because they run out of room. They build between studs and run out of room, and they swarm. And that's most likely where this came from. So that's kind of nice, catching a swarm in your apiary that aren't your bees. And that's not uncommon. I've heard from several beekeepers that had swarms move into their apiary from elsewhere. There's just a lot of scent. There's a lot of resources that they can smell. So there's old drawn comb that's not being used. They can smell these empty boxes. Anywhere where you're storing old frames, old drawn comb, that's a swarm lure. The natural scent of the honeycomb or the old brood comb. So it's not uncommon to catch feral bees in an apiary. Alright, I'll let you know if I get any more swarms.